Aisling. Welcome to Ace of Spades Tarot. As we continue to ring in this astrological new year, started on March 20th, the spring equinox. I could think of no better time to start this channel, especially given the current global turbulence we're all experiencing. So, for these first 12 readings, I'll be using the Romani spread, and I contemplated whether or not I would shuffle in advance and deal in advance, because it's a time-consuming process. So once I have shuffled, I will continue to shuffle and deal the spread on camera. So feel free to fast forward during that time. It is time consuming. So this reading will be for the collective energy of Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, N.Node, really anywhere that you have Libra prominently in your personal natal chart. And again, as this is a general collective reading, it's not a personal one-on-one reading. As always, take what resonates with your situation and leave the rest, and feel free to check out the readings for other placements in your chart as they might better fit your situation. These readings starting off this channel are to get kind of a general feel of where the collective is at energy-wise, kind of where they've come from, where they're headed, where they're at presently. So it's really an energetic read, and time is fluid, so the readings are timeless. I hope that this reading finds you when it is meant to, as it is meant to. If you end up enjoying the reading and enjoying the messages here, please, I'd be very grateful for you to subscribe to the channel, like, share, comment. All I ask is that if you comment, you are respectful, both towards me and towards the others in the collective energy. Don't be a jerk, don't be an asshole. I won't be. I ask you not to be. There's enough negative energy in this world. I don't think we need any more. This should be a safe space. And so I'll be finishing off with a couple of oracle cards, just to either give further insight or confirm, the messages that were given. But we'll get started now. Again, feel free to fast forward through this. It can take a bit of time, because I don't choose the cards, I let them fall out as well. So, Spirit, please, the collective energy for Libra. Everyone is getting, I'm telling you, it's crazy. The same cards are coming out, and I mean, I shuffled the deck like crazy. So many of the same cards are coming out for all of the signs, and that just tells me that everyone's kind of in this. A lot of people, we're all in the same kind of energy of where there's a lot of both internal mental conflict and external or internal mental conflict and internal kind of physical conflict, but it's in our minds and our bodies. So I find that really interesting. There's a lot of emphasis on needing to heal, or having taken the time to do that, which is already coming out clearly in your past energy here as we go into the present energy for the Libra collective, please, Spirit. Thank you. For the future energy, please. Thank you. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going on outside. Sorry. Early in the morning. My coffee ready to go. Okay, so Libra. We start off in the past. It's a lot of wand energy here, right? And it's a lot of kind of conflicted wand energy, where you've been through the ringer and had to take a time out. You know, you have the Seven of Wands where you're fighting, and we've all been fighting in kind of an unseen, you know, with this pandemic, it's kind of an unseen enemy, right? It's an invisible enemy. and trying to protect ourselves and our loved ones, but kind of, feeling we're also, having protect, it's an underlying, I think there's been a pervasive underlying feeling of just being exhausted and fighting to the point of chaos, and coming out of it just being very guarded and being very, this is very much the Wounded Warrior card. Just right, just protecting what you have at all costs, and you've worked hard and you fought hard, and you're tired. But what's beautiful is that you understood that, and you move into the star energy, major arcana for Aquarius. But it's really the healing energy, right? She pours into the water, she pours onto the earth, she's fertilizing the earth, she's comfortable in her own skin. The stars are all above her. They're, it's incredible healing energy, soul healing energy. And moving directly into the Four of Swords, which is kind of like the minor arcana of the star. It's, this meditation and period of meditation, right? Where, you're both Venusian and Saturnian ruled, so it's the Empress. You're the Empress, but you're also Justice. And you hold the sword of truth. And here you notice, the man that's lying. It looks like he's dead. He's not. He's hung up, 3 swords. Perhaps there was a heartbreak in the past. I'm sure everyone's had one. But, he's done fighting, he's resting, and he keeps his sword of truth with him, beneath him, and his mind is still going. And, as I was saying in readings, at the time when tarot was first, it was first really introduced in Northern Europe in the 14th century, alchemy was this huge thing, turning base metal into gold. But stained windows was really the epitome of alchemy to so many, because it was turning plain glass into these beautiful colored, depictions of scenes where as the sun transitioned through the sky, the light would change, the shadows would change, the colors would change. It would really take over the spaces in which they were, installed or built for, in these churches, and that's why they were in so many churches, because it was a mystical experience, right? It was a spiritual experience. But it also shows that while you're meditating, your body might be at rest, but your mind is still fully alive. Ooh, let me just turn this. And we come out of that and we realize we have things that we're juggling, right? We're now trying to juggle. We're trying to juggle maybe too many things, and we can't do this. It's, you notice that the pentacles are in the infinity symbol. So it's like, but you can't juggle ad infinitum. It's just like the ships in the rolling sea in the background. He's trying to do it for as long as he can, but eventually you have to give up. You have to let something go. The Emperor knows this. The Emperor is wise. The Emperor has learned about life and about loss, about giving up things, about winning battles, about losing battles. He still wears his armor. He's old, he's wise. He's a warrior who rules an empire. He has to understand that there are things you hold on to and things you let go of, and he knows how to delegate. He's not going to be here juggling 2 pentacles, trying to hold on. And you've just gone through this healing process, and I think you're starting to understand that. Because as we go into our present, we go into this 10 of Cups energy, right? And that's emotional fulfillment. That's beautiful. It's next to the King of Cups. The King of Cups is Libra and Scorpio energy. So here you are, you're showing up in your own reading in that sense. And the King of Cups is in complete, emotional control. He is, and you are balanced, right? You are the scales of justice. And he is balanced. He is emotionally balanced. He has, gone through the other the stages of the page of the night, and he's now the king. And he's stoic, and he sits on a watery throne, but he's not affected by the tides. It's control, which leads us into the Six of Pentacles. This beautiful Moon and Taurus energy, which is about and again we see the man holding the scales of balance. So it's like you've really learned balance. You're no longer juggling, but you've learned how to balance, and you've learned emotional balance, and you've learned how to take that emotional balance and make it into something tangible that you can then share with others, which is a really beautiful energy to be in. You're not indecisive. I mean, this is also this is Moon in Libra energy, and typically it would be that her heart chakra is blocked, and she can unblindfold herself and uncross her swords, and chooses not to. But here you have, it's in the reverse, which says to me that you understand that giving with an open heart and receiving with an open heart is much better than being stuck in the mental prison in your head that you choose to put yourself in, right? And that allows for new creative endeavors, right? Here we have the Page of Wands, which is possibly a new project coming in. It could be a new romance. It could be, pages are messengers. So it could be the message of a new creative project. It could be the message of, it could be a flirtation. It's still starting out young in the journey, very nascent energy. But soon, the page learns he has to work hard. He has to work hard and diligently to get to where he wants to get to. He's discovered emotional balance. He's gone within. He's learned how to heal, and now he learns how to work. And sometimes, though, we can get too caught up in our work, right? And then it can become a mental prison in another sort of way. So you might have opened your heart, but then you found yourself in your mind here, right? Because, even though the 2 is in reverse, we still have the 2 and the 8 here, and we're always trying to get to the 10. And 2 plus 8 is 10, and 10 of Swords is, complete shutdown, 10 swords in the back, and, ending. You're not getting up from that. So, she can release herself. There's nothing stopping her path in front of her. The swords aren't blocking her. It's only her own mental prison that she's in. And this says to me, perhaps some of you, beautiful Librans, are working so hard at something that you've forgotten what you're working even for, right? Because directly from the 8 of Swords, we go into the 7 of Swords, which is, the Thief in the Night card, but it's again leaving those 2 swords in the ground, which we've already seen back here, where you've already passed this. You've already passed this test. So it's almost like there's almost a breakdown here between present and future. It really feels to me, and especially with this Knight of Wands, this kind of in and out fiery energy, here today, gone tomorrow, passionate, lusty, or sounds good but then disappears. It feels like you're not trusting your own mind, and you're trying to kind of, the work might be getting to you in a way if you're working really hard, and it can be something you're passionate about, absolutely. Like, this could be about a job that you're passionate about, but you're starting to cut corners a bit. You start to cut corners a bit because it's getting to you. The 6 of Pentacles, the balance that you have, and the balance that you're all about, the sign of balance. You might be sitting with this 9 of Cups energy, and you've been in this 10 of Cups in the past. This 9 of Cups is kind of wish fulfillment and guarding your cups, and kind of very like, I've got everything I need. But you're burnt out, Sometimes I feel like this is wish fulfillment. Sometimes I feel like it's smug. Sometimes I feel like this man is like this close to like, a heart attack and like a, possible gout problem. You know, some overindulgence. And Knight of Wands can be overindulging too, you know. You can be the playboy, the party boy, you know, playgirl, whatever, you know. It's not gender specific. And I think it means taking a step back, because you know you can't cut corners. You know you can't leave the swords in the ground because you're looking back at them, and the swords are in your head. So, you know, it puts you right back into this position, and you don't want to be there. You know, you've already been there, and you've already been able to get past that. You don't want to go back there and have to redo it. And so the Page of Pentacles steps in, and again we have Page of Pentacles as a messenger, right? So maybe it's another offer, and maybe it's not as exciting, right? Maybe it's not as exciting of an offer as this Page of Wands. As you know, he's the Page of Wands is more richly robed. He's got this big, you know, budding staff. He's excited. He's about his staff and his journey, and you know. But the Page of Pentacles is a sincere offer, regardless. You know, it's a sincere message. It's something tangible. It's not just physical solar plexus fire energy. It's material energy. It's, you know, it's not 9 of Cups energy. It's not 10 of Cups energy, but it's a start. And so there's something in your head about it, though, because we have this, you know, this 7 of Swords energy, and then this 5 of Swords energy, which is kind of the win at all costs card. So it's like, I've already gotten here. Like, I'm not going backwards. And, you know, you see 2 people walking away, and one person holding 3 swords, and the other 2 are on the ground. Again, you have the 2 of Swords here, the 2 of Swords stuck in the ground here. He's looking back. The 2 of Swords on the ground here. He's looking back, which means, you know, he's carrying a 3 of Swords. Again, the 3 of Swords and the 3 of Swords. The 3 of Swords is a card of heartbreak, you know. So it's winning at all costs, but at what cost to you? At what cost to your mental state? And that's when the universe steps in and says, yo, we sent you this messenger. Why? You didn't pay attention to the sign. You're too, you know, you're sitting here too well fed, too well drunk, too well, you know, and here, now, like, what do we have to do to show you? And you have 2 cards of this right in a row. You also have this 4 of Cups energy, where again the 3 comes into play, these 3 cups that he's paying attention to, right? Which is, you know, his mind and his heart are stuck on these 3 cups, these 3 swords. And the universe is saying, here's this cup. You know, it's not as big as a gesture as this one we've trying to give you, but now we're trying to give you this emotional, maybe this will, you know, fulfill you. And and it's like, you just don't want to pay attention. It's you know, and if you notice, it's the same, it's basically the same, you know, outfit that this person is wearing. It's like, I have these 3 swords, I have these 3 cups, haha, I won, now I'm alone with my feelings. Before I was alone with my thoughts, now I'm alone with my feelings. And you're not noticing the signs, right? And the universe is like, hello, we sent you a messenger, and you didn't pay attention, and now we send you even a bigger message, and you're still not paying attention, so we're sending you the Queen of Wands. You'll pay attention to the Queen of Wands, right? You're the Knight of Wands, you'll pay attention to the Queen of Wands. And, you know, the Queen of Wands is like holding on to that wand the same way you were, you know, the same way you looked at that wand. She's not really looking at the wand, though. She's looking into the distance. Sunflowers facing the sun. Her cat is her intuition. She is, you know, sensuality and you know, she's the lustful queen. Her legs are splayed. She is, you know, she's young. She's beautiful. She's sexy. And again, not gender specific, so you can take it as it is. But you know, it's, you've been in the present, either in the presence of this Emperor energy. This could be like a boss-like figure or a father-like figure, or this could be your energy. And you've been in this ability to control emotions, right? And emotional control and balance and stability and healing. And so I feel like right now, and I don't like to say that the universe tests us, because I'm not sure I believe, I mean, I believe that we are tested in certain ways, but it's not so much a test in terms of like pass or fail. It's like, okay, did I pass? And if I didn't, what did I learn? So temptation might be a thing coming up. Maybe you're in a place where you're getting a lot of attention, you know, and you forget about this balance. You forget about what your Libran, you know, kind of duty is to be balanced, is to be the scales, to be the emotional balance, to understand the balance between mind, body, soul, to, you know, not just think with passion or with your mind, but think with, you know, to balance everything out and to give and receive in equal measure, right? And to be in control of your emotions and to work hard, but not to the point where you burn out and you start to cut corners, and not to the point where you start to, you know, become unreliable, or, you know, too much in your pride or in your ego, that you can't step away from what you think you've accomplished to receive gifts that the universe has for you. And maybe this Queen of Wands is a gift, you know, maybe she balances you out, but it's also to me it feels very much like does it take throwing a Queen of Wands in front of you for you to wake up? Or can you start with the small things and start paying attention and remembering the things that you've worked so hard, and how you worked, why you worked so hard to get to where you got, and where you are, and what you have, and what it all really means? Because this has all been about priority. Like, you know, these past couple of years have really made us reprioritize things, right? You know, it's made us sit back and think about what really matters to us in life. And, you know, do you want to end up bloated and with gout in 20 years, or do you want to pay attention and sit regally on your throne and be in control and have a work-life balance? That's what I really feel like this is about for you. It's about the work-life balance, and the personal, you know, personal life versus work life, you know, mind versus body, heart, you know, emotions versus financial, you know, balancing all of it so that you don't burn out, because that's what I feel like is happening here. It's physical burnout, it's overindulgence, it's mental burnout, it's not paying attention to the signs in front of you that are being shoved in your face, and kind of getting into temptation. And, you know, that happens when we're burnt out. It's, you know, you can't just work as, you know, you can't work day in and day out and burn the candle at both ends continuously. You can't be in this. So that's why when we look at this perspective, this is, you know, looking down vertically, this is you know, this is the first column of self and what matters to you really. And I think what matters to you really is having this emotional fulfillment in this happy life, and feeling like you constantly have to fight. In the past, you constantly had to fight to get to that place. But when you got to it, was it not enough? You know, you're already at the 10 here. Why are we cutting corners? And why are we leaving swords in the ground to look back at? Why, you know, why? So I think that you have to ask yourself what matters to you. And in your home surroundings here, you know, this is your daily environment and your surroundings. You know, in the past we had chaos, and then we had emotional control, and then we have this kind of in and out lusty playboy energy, this fiery energy, which can be fun, but it's not sustainable energy, right? This is sustainable energy. This is not sustainable energy. So it's like where you're at is in a good place, but where you're headed, I see how it gets to burnout, you know? in your hopes and in your fears here, it's like you don't want to go back to this place where you feel like this wounded, like you've been through the wars and you're just holding on for dear life. And I think that you fear losing all of that you've accomplished here, but what you really accomplished was the ability to be balanced, was the ability to give and to receive, and to understand that giving and receiving goes both ways, right? It's not just about hoarding your own abundance. It's about a give and take of energy. When you have more to give someone that has less, you give. When they have more, they reciprocate. And that's how energy works. As above, so below, right? Everything comes back around. So you can sit and you can guard your 9 cups for as long as you want. You're not going anywhere. But again, at what cost? And I think you fear losing them. But what you should really fear losing is the energy that you understood or are, understanding presently, and not let yourself get to this place. It's kind of a warning. In the known factors, the star, the 2 of Swords in reverse, the Page of Pentacles, it's like, you went through a transition, a process of healing, and you did that yourself, where you grew up, you grew comfortable in your own skin, where you were able to go within to heal, where you were able to make decisions with a clear mind and unblindfold yourself and see with your third eye and use your intuition and unblock your heart chakra, right? And be aware when things are offered to you. That's a known factor. However, what's unknown is what you do with that offer. So you might know about an offer, but say, oh yeah, but it's not what I'm used to making, or it's not, he's not my type, or she's not my type, or but it's a solid offer that can be built upon. It's something tangible. Don't poo-poo it just because you think you're already here. What's in the hidden factors is maybe you didn't realize when you were taking time out to meditate and to envision what you saw for yourself, in your resting periods. Maybe you have vivid dreams, I don't know. That it would take you on a journey, right? It would take you on this journey. It would take you on this new creative project and on this journey of that you're excited to go on, right? It's full of color and life and fresh starts, and you didn't know that would happen, and you didn't know that it could also lead to the winning at all costs, right? To becoming someone that is not really you, right? This is not really you. This is not balanced energy. You haven't won anything when 2 people walk away and leave their swords on the ground. And you have 3 swords. It's, here what you didn't realize is you'd hung up your 3 swords. Heartbreak in the past, you moved past it. Here it's like, you're not letting it go. It's, you're taking them back. You're not letting them know. You're not using your sword of truth. You're leaving those 2 swords on the ground just to get yourself, wrapped up in your mind again. So that's what's hidden and to be aware of. Short-term future here is, trying to balance too many things, working really hard, diligently, and receiving an offer. Again, it could look like this, but it could be this. Be very mindful of the offers you turn your nose up at. The more, the more you build your success. Because some could be divinely handed to you in the, under the guise of something that looks like it's nothing. That's a pretty strong pentacle to be handed. It's a pretty strong path, pretty abundant, pretty lush. Long-term future, you have the Emperor, you have this Eight of Swords, this, mental imprisonment here, and not paying attention. So it's like, to me it says, pay attention to the short-term future, right? Because the long-term future, you can have this Emperor energy, or be, embody this Emperor energy, whatever that means to you, because it can mean something different to it can mean something different to each person, what that means. But if you let yourself be blindfolded and stay in a mental prison and only focus on making sure that you're coveting the things you have, and not paying attention to the signs, and I'm telling you, every reading is getting this, because it's really, I think people are exhausted. I think people are really, really exhausted, and I think people are, there's a strong feeling of hope in a lot of ways, and yet a strong feeling of like, I'm just weary, right? And it's almost like he's just too weary to even turn his head to look at this cup that's being offered, because this is both the emotions and the tangible, right? This is heart, this is love and money. So, maybe your Queen of Wands is the maybe that is the cup that you're not paying attention to. Maybe that is your counterpart. It's Pisces and Aries energy. I don't know if you have those in your chart, or if you're connecting with someone with those prominently in their chart. But that person could be right in front of you and you don't notice it. Or it could be, again, temptation saying, okay, you want to be a playboy? We'll send you the Queen of Wands. And trust me, between the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands is going to win. It won't be pretty. You want to meet each other equally, and at equal, with your cups both full, so that when each of you drinks from each other's cup, you're both, nourishing yourselves in the same way. So now I'd like to, this is Kim Krantz's the Wild Unknown Spirit, Animal Spirit deck, Oracle deck. I'm just going to pull 3 cards for past, present, future, and see how they link up to what we just kind of went over. I can feel you're angry at me, Libras. Don't be angry with me. I'm warning you. I'm giving you things to look out for. Tarot is a tool, I can feel the I would never do that, or that's not me, and it's not you, exactly. So that's why. But men are, humans are humans. Both of these. So it's interesting, right? We have this moth spirit, which, like a moth to a flame, so they say, right? Moths are incredibly, not only are they beautiful, but they're the most sensitive of creatures. It's like they have so many nerve endings in their wings. Just the slightest touch it's can devastate them. That they're also, moths speak of our oftentimes of our ancestors who have passed, or of spirit guides being around us. But I love this moth in particular because of its green color. It really speaks to the opening of the heart chakra, right? Which is what I think you did in the past after going through the wars and healing. You opened up that heart chakra, right? And you did, and you opened it up to love, because we have the swan here next. So we have, air energy, we have water energy here. And the swan is someone who makes everything look smooth, gliding along the water. But it's underneath they're paddling furiously, but they make everything look seamless, right? And I feel like that's what you're doing. You're working to make everything look seamless, right? In whatever it is that you do. And but underneath you're paddling furiously. But there's two ways and I've never actually gotten this from this card, because this is typically like my kind of lover's card, or my Two of Cups card, or twin flame, if you believe in that. It's still to each his own. But it's also could be a mirror image, mirror image card in a couple of ways. Like it could be, Narcissus looking at his own reflection, which, it could be getting so enamored with your own reflection that you're failing to notice what's around you. Swans mate for life, and they're very protective of their mates and of their young. A swan will attack. They're beautiful, but they're vicious. But on the surface, like the King of Cups, they look like completely serene and stoic and calm. But don't try to take what's theirs, right? It also could be that you find your counterpart, and you find the person that is that mirror image of you. And you both work hard, and maybe when you work hard together, it's there's a lot of communication, and a heartfelt communication, because there's a lot of blues in the throat chakra, and green, blues for the throat chakra, and green for the heart chakra. And so, it's maybe meeting that person that balances you out here, right? You have to notice kind of this Two of Swords in the white, right? And the symmetry of this with the moon and the yellow here, and then the symmetry of the white swan, right? And the black around the eye and the white around the eye here, almost like the blindfold. It's kind of interesting how that kind of, and this is at the center of your reading, and how that kind of symbolically, and she's surrounded by water, how it symbolically kind of matches up. I feel like there's something more I'm going to get from this, but I do think it's interesting that the fox came out last, because this is very much Seven of Swords energy. Foxes are very smart little animals, but they're little tricksters, and they will cut the corners, and they will be in places they're not supposed to, and they will, they're foxy, right? And it's earth energy, but it's trickster earth energy. It's not a loyal dog, You know, it's not the lone wolf, it's a fox. Foxes are sneaky. Foxes are in and out, darting in and out constantly. You know? And that's what I feel like is kind of the energy, the future energy to watch out for. Because you don't, as beautiful as foxes are and as intelligent as they are, I mean, Libra, you're very intelligent, you know, you're certainly a very intellectual sign, you know, and you know, a lot in, as an air sign, you know, speaks highly towards intellect, right? But you want to use your intellect for good, not for winning at all costs. Because the person that wins at all costs, plays mind games, you know, doesn't really win at all. You don't win if the others aren't playing. Someone can't say, I'm going to race you down the block, and the other person says, sorry, I don't race. And then the first person runs anyways and says, ha, I won. No, you didn't, because I wasn't racing, right? I wasn't running. So I don't know who you were competing against, but it wasn't me, you know? What did you win? So be careful with that. Again, it's just kind of warning energy. It's just kind of confirming that warning energy. Now, I'd like to have you think of a question. We'll pull one Moonology card for you. Just think of whatever question kind of pops into your mind at the moment. One card, Spirit. Just one card, please, for Libra, for the collective energy of Libra. What's on their mind? What do they need to know? What do they need to know? Thank you. Your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus. And then they said to look at the bottom of the deck. Meditate and contemplate. New moon in Pisces. So it's kind of interesting because, you know, the full moon in Taurus won't come until November or so, you know, Scorpio season. And meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces, you know, which we just had about a month ago. So it's interesting because in this past energy, you're meditating and contemplating, and I feel like, you know, like I was saying, that your mind is you might look like you're, you know, fully at rest, but your mind is vividly active, right? And it's like you're in a dream state and you're dreaming in Technicolor. So meditate and contemplate, but then have a practical plan so that you don't have to cut these corners, so you're not in and out energy, so that you're not playing the role of the fox, right? And, you know, you could have a practical plan. What are you doing every day to work on it? I know for me, starting this, I'm terrified of filming and I mean, I've been reading tarot for years, but I had everything planned out, you know, I had everything planned out, how I was going to do it, and, you know, I kept changing it time over and over again, and it was really just my own fear of being recorded and being, you know, recording myself and figuring out how after 28 years of reading for for people individually how I was going to start doing collective readings, and I had to really work on it, or at least I told myself I did, right? And it really came down to the fact that I'm very camera shy. So eventually, I'm sure you'll see my face on camera, but for now, I realized, you know what? I'm going to do this, but I need to get comfortable first, but I need to just do it. So, I don't know where I was going with that your dreams do need a practical plan, and you can plan all you want, and you can meditate and contemplate. Then you also have to kind of dig in your heels and do the thing you're afraid of. I guess that was my personal aside to this, that I can understand, making plans, revising plans, and then just saying, okay, you know what, I just have to do it. I just have to do it, and this is between the equinox and the new moon in Aries is when I need to do this. And I set that goal, and I worked a little each day. Let's see what came here. Two crystals. So we have Ocean Jasper and Lemurian Quartz. Ocean Jasper, schedule yourself in. Your dreams need a practical plan. Schedule yourself in. But it also means, taking time for yourself, not overworking, not getting burnt out. And Lemurian Quartz, practice patience. This Knight of Wands has no patience, doesn't understand the meaning of patience. Definitely not. So, you do understand patience. You have to remember how to practice it. I'll read these to you. You might want to get if you don't have one already, a small journal. Why I really like these, this particular Daily Crystal Inspiration Guidebook by Heather Akinosi is because, she asks some journaling, some questions, little questions, journaling prompts, and gives affirmations with the explanations of the crystals. And I think a daily little journaling prompt is a great thing to have in your life. It's helped me a lot over the years, so I can only speak for myself, but I recommend it. And it's a fun little thing to do, to ask yourself these questions, and sometimes they're hard to answer, and you'll feel better once you do. So Ocean Jasper, schedule yourself in. There's always time for me time. It's okay to make yourself a priority. If you don't take care of yourself, it's hard to be available to care for others in an effective and healthy way. Schedule a little time every day to ensure that you are nurturing and nourishing yourself properly. Take a break and treat yourself in some small way. You've earned it. If your day is so full that you can't schedule 5 minutes for yourself, then schedule 10. Self-care is not selfish, it's absolutely necessary in order to be the best version of you. So here are the questions. What do you do for yourself? Do you put yourself last on the to-do list? How can you make yourself more of a priority? Again, what do you do for yourself? Do you put yourself last on the to-do list? How can you make yourself more of a priority? And the affirmation is, I care for myself because I am important. Today, make a commitment to schedule time for yourself. I care for myself because I am important. And Lemurian Quartz, practice patience. Slow down. There's no need to hurry or rush through life. There is enough time for you to do everything you need to do. Learn to quiet the restless parts of yourself and take life one step at a time. There is a difference between being busy and being productive. Make sure you spend your precious time on things that matter most. Patience is not something you acquire once and never have to think of again, which is what we're just saying. It is a practice, one that must be consciously drawn upon, even when your poise is tested. Go with the pace of nature and trust that everything will happen in due course. A little mindful patience makes the everyday more enjoyable so that you can appreciate life's natural pauses. Here are the core questions. What people or situations test your patience? How can you be more patient in your everyday life? What people or situations test your patience? How can you be more patient in everyday life? The affirmation, I am patient. Today, slow down. Let someone pass in front of you in traffic or go in front of you in line at a store. I am patient. So simple little things, but those simple little things add up and they make all the difference. So start with these things and hopefully I will see you next time and we'll do something a little different and we'll delve a little deeper. And I'm excited to take this journey with you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm truly grateful for all of you that have lasted this long. Again, please subscribe, like, comment, share. I don't know, they also hit the notification bell, which I never see, so I guess do that if if you know where it is. And if you're interested in private readings, I am available for, I'm available to give a couple each week. They're pretty in-depth, depending on what you're looking for. So you'll find my email in my about section and in the description box below once I fill out the description boxes below. On that note, ciao for now. Namaste.